Hello, Drake Hawkins, Musically Optimistic here, and today I'm going to be ranking every Danny Brown album from worst to best. Now, you might notice that I'm holding a cheap $10 microphone from Walmart and that I am in a different location, and if you think you've noticed those changes, you're wrong. I've always been in this spot and I've always had this microphone. No, but in all seriousness, I moved, and that's why I'm in this corner. Because I'm currently unpacking and getting shit set up, so my place is in a little bit of shambles right now. And I have my mic set up. It's off screen, but I don't want to hold that. I don't want to actually damage it. Plus, I like the handheld situation here, even if I'm gonna have to compress the shit out of this audio. But yeah, Danny Brown has 5 full-length albums as of recording this, and I believe that they are all pretty good. Let me go get my phone. I don't remember what order I put them in.
A few moments later.
You see this shit? I had to take a fucking picture of my laptop screen because my second phone, which is absolute fucking garbage, and I spent $500 or $600 on it, doesn't want to connect to my hotspot. So how great. Things are just not working, and I feel like this entire video being in shambles is kind of perfect for talking about Danny Brown. As for a lot of his career, he struggled with addiction and a bunch of different personal demons, which were especially wrestled with on albums like Atrocity Exhibition and his latest record, Quaranta. And some people might be thinking, Matt, he has more than 5 albums. He has Scaring the Hose, he has The Hybrid. But I have to say to those people is I'm not ranking Scaring the Hose because it is a collaborative album with JPEG Mafia that he is not as predominant on. And I don't want to do collab albums in these videos anyway, because this is about Danny. It's Danny time. And there's no point in ranking the fucking Hybrid because it would be in last place. Anyways, bottom of the list, number 5. We have his 2013 album, Old. Now, I don't know if this is considered his debut commercial album because this came a little bit after his breakthrough mixtape in 2011, Old. Why the fuck did I say Old as XXX? But yeah, in my opinion, this is clearly his least polished album, mainly because of how polished it is. Most of the tracks in the latter half of this album are more electronic, and that's its experimentation. Danny's going wild as hell over these raging party club anthems, and even Charlie XCX is on the closing track of this thing. There certainly are a lot of fucking slappers on here, like Smokin' on Drinkin'. I love that one so much. Its instrumental is fantastic. The hook on it is so memorable, and Danny's energy is just so manic on that track. The catchy ass refrains and whatever's going on the track with Schoolboy Q that I can't even remember the name of, but it's "No open wide ho." It's just so funny, catchy, and it's just such a fucking energetic bombshell of a song. However, I feel like I can justify this bottom placement with just Headstand alone. That is easily the worst song that I have ever heard come out of one of my favorite rappers. Like, the instrumental is so fucking unlistenable. What was Danny thinking when he rapped out? Was he high out of his? Yeah, he was probably high out of his mind. Anyways, number 4.
The Hybrid, smoking a papaya that give you niggas bronchitis. What you write is all vagina.
Apparently, I just fucked the entire audio for number 4. But yeah, this is a great album from Danny Brown. He says a lot of stuff. It's just a little bit too intense at points for me. Like Pac Blood, Die Like a Rock Star, Monopoly, I Will, 30. These are all career highlights, especially I Will. It's so silly. And the way he goes on and on about bend over, let me see it. You want to see a real pussy eater, I'ma be it. It's just inspiring, to say the least. But this is just an album that I don't come back to that much, just because it is too intense and not entirely what I want to hear. Don't get me wrong, tracks like Monopoly are absolutely fucking fantastic. In fact, that's the song that got me into Danny Brown, with how wild it is, how awesome that instrumental is, how killer and non-stop and brutal his flow is. But yeah, a lot of this album is just very, very uncomfortable looks at a guy who's actively destroying his life, and he knows it. Seeing him in this state, especially knowing that he was not enjoying himself in his life at this point, it's not something that I want to do that often. And so that is why this breakthrough project of his is down this low, because it's not something I want to hear that often. Anyways, number 3.
Bunk school, stole the scales out of chemistry class and made it all come back like memory lapse.
You know what I'm saying? His 2019 record he made after taking like a 3-year break with Atrocity Exhibition. And some people were pretty disappointed when he came back with this low-key, abstract hip-hop, boom bap, conscious hip-hop album. And honestly, it has a lot of things that I love about Danny Brown and his music and just hip-hop in general. Whether it's playfully looking back at his life on tracks like Savage Nomad, or recounting sexual encounters on Dirty Laundry, or celebrating his new successes and living his best life on Best Life. The overall joy of this record is just very endearing, heartwarming, and it's still kooky, off-the-wall fun from Danny Brown. And if you like anything else from him, you'll probably like this. I can see this one being kind of a contentious pick though, just because it's not as wild or zany as like his other projects. So it's kind of an oddball here, but I love it as a nice little detour. Number 2.
Tell me what they do when I'm black and slow, when I'm money that low, but the rent rise up. White folks coming at the blue, they done tore that down and made that to a Whole Foods.
I would say Quaranta, his newest record, is a contender for one of his best. Quaranta means 40, and I think Spanish or Italian, one of those two fucking languages that I don't speak because I know English and just like the slightest bit of German. Oh, meine Pfannkuchen ist nicht lecker. Thick. I don't know swear words that well. But yeah, this is pretty much a check-in from Danny Brown after hitting the age of 40. This was supposed to come out a couple years ago. Now he's like 42, 43 at this point. But this is a nice little check-in from Danny Brown, basically going over his newfound sobriety, talking about different changes in his life, how his life is falling apart, and with more introspection again with tracks like YBP, talking about the gentrification of his hometown Detroit on Jen's Terrific Vacation, which I didn't get the auditory wordplay with gentrification. Jen's Terrific Vacation. I wish I was that brilliant. And with one of my favorite tracks on here, Celibate, the main things that make it click is his low-key delivery, the funny-ass wordplay on the hook. I used to celibate, but I don't mess around no more, I'm celibate. Mike's feature on the track is killer, and that instrumental is just so fucking hypnotically beautiful. I don't know what it is about that simple, like, vibraphone loop, or whatever the fuck it is, but it's just so endearing, and I listen to the track so much. Dark Sword Angel is a career highlight. It's as kooky as anything, even with its lo-fi vocal mix. It helps make the sound even more oddball than, like, almost anything else here. Of course, the production on that doesn't touch the fucking masterful production from Casa overall, or whatever the dude's name is on Jen's Terrific Vacation. That instrumental is just so fucking mind-meltingly, it's on the level of Atrocity Exhibition, dare I say. Had he dropped this in 2016 on that record, it would have fit in beautifully sound-wise, maybe not topically. My only real complaint with this album is that it feels shorter than it is. It's 11 tracks long, but it just kind of breezes by, which I don't have a problem with. I'd rather it breeze by than fucking drag. And by the end of it, I feel like I want more, because the conclusion that it comes to is a nice enough one, but Also, Tantor does not fit on this album. I didn't really care for it as a single, especially after a few listens. It grew off me every time I listened to it. It was a pretty cool instrumental, but it's not really about anything. And then in the context of the album, it goes from this introspective look, Quaranta, the title track, it goes from this introspective look at where he is now into reach one, teach one, can they go to the water, how you eat, son? Got a Mexican homie named Chinese Mike. Like, the instrumental's cool, and the silly sound effects at the end are silly and goofy, but I don't give a shit about this song. It doesn't like ruin the album, obviously, because it's still at number 2. But yeah, we all know it's at number 1. Number 1.
Verbal culture, parkour with the metaphors, the flow house of horror, then boulder with metal doors. Hence, bitch, 6 cents with a nose drip.
Atrocity Exhibition. One of the darkest, most depressing, most mind-bending albums I have listened to. The production on this is truly next level, whether it's the insane, like, burp, 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 on White Lines, or the fucking, or the dark cultish instrumentals on Today, Today, Today. Not only are the beats here just absolutely fucking phenomenal, densely layered, and mind-alteringly good and intoxicating, but like the topic matter, the subject matter, and the writing here is so haunting, brutal, heartbreaking at points. Like the way that he talks about destroying his life on this album, whether it be Ain't It Funny, talking about ain't it funny how I went from this part of my life to this absolute fucking addiction that absolutely destroys everything that I want. Like the way that he writes on these songs is just absolutely fucking I'm stunned for words. Like I listen to this album so often, it's so good, but also it's so bad in the way that, like, dude, see a doctor. And thankfully since then he's been actively trying to better his life with albums like You Know What I'm Saying and Quaranta, recently doing like a stint in rehab, and yeah, he's gotten his life together for the most part, or at least he's trying to, and that's really all that I can ask for as a listener, because Atrocity Exhibition, yeah, it's a perfect album. Like there's not much I can say about it because every second of this album just fucking clicks. Whether it's the minimal yet fucking industrial ass sounds of Pneumonia, one of the most wild posse cuts I've ever heard with Really Doe featuring Kendrick Lamar, fucking Absol, Earl Sweatshirt, and I swear there's someone else on the song. There's not, you're right for once. Ah! Tell Me What I Don't Know, which first time I heard it, I didn't even think it was Danny Brown because he went from this wild ass delivery on, I'm sweating like I'm in a rave, been in this room for 3 days. Into Tell Me What I Don't Know, last night homie came through with the liquor store. It's such a wild juxtaposition and it works so well. There's also another track on here with Kalela, From the Ground, where he goes into this more downtrodden delivery where he gets more introspective and looks back at things too. These moments honestly hit harder than when he's screaming about doing lines of coke, because it really shows that he is a person living through these things rather than just the dark, wacky caricature on tracks like White Lines. And I keep mentioning White Lines because that is my favorite song. It's so fucking catchy. The instrumental is so wild. It's just a wild display of what you can do in music. Also, Ain't It Funny? Biggest song from the album, one of the highest rated rap songs of all time, and it literally got my anonymous partner into Danny Brown. And so yeah, I think that alone should tell you why Atrocity Exhibition is number one. It's so good. And so yeah, Danny Brown, one of my favorite rappers, an experimental hip-hop legend. I don't know a whole lot of experimental hip-hop artists, I'm gonna be honest with you. I know JPEG Mafia, Danny Brown, myself, Scuba Diver. And so yeah, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Who should I rank next? I have like 4 videos planned that I need to record and edit, but I've been so busy with everything that I'm doing right now that I haven't been able to do fucking anything that I've wanted to. Like, I was gonna try and put together an official setup to record this video, but I thought, in the spirit of things, why don't I look fucking disheveled? Because that's where I'm at in my life right now. I'm a mess. Deal with it. And hit the subscribe button so you're here for the rest of my mess. Bye. Yeah, I have to have my hands free.